How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back again with another 2022 New York Auto Show video, except today it's going to be a little bit different. So normally I've been focusing on the new vehicles or like the manufacturer sections, and today I kind of want to just highlight the modified cars of the 2022 New York Auto Show. Now, like the cars kind of on this level, which you're going to see in a bit, some of these cars may actually not be modified. I'm just kind of titling that because the main modified car section is like down below. But on this level, we have a lot of like really cool, like old school 80s, 90s Euros and like Japanese imports right in front of me here, and as well as a few rally cars. But yeah, now I'm going to kind of make my way over. Also, there's a ton of people, so excuse me if I'm kind of moving in and out. But right in front, this 1991 Jaguar XJ50. Really cool vehicle, right-hand drive, right from Britain. And this thing is basically like, I mean, it looks really amazing. And for its time, I mean, like this, it's really mind-blowing. I haven't actually seen one in person like ever in my life, so pretty cool to see. I'm not a huge Jaguar fan, but a very, very unique car. And speaking about unique cars, we do have a 1985 Renault S5 Turbo right in front of us. I love the boxy design, like as well as you're gonna see with like some of those rally cars over there, but the overall, like, you know, designs of this era were just very, you know, boxy and simple, and I don't know, I feel like they're definitely timeless. Not as like smooth going as like, you know, cars back, you know, further back in like the 60s or 50s, but this Renault is awesome. And then right over here we have an E30 M3. Speaking of, you know, boxy designs, probably the boxiest generation of any BMWs, and to be honest with you, like, this is my favorite generation of the BMW. My buddy's actually got a 325i, same gen, except it's, you know, not the M3 obviously, so it's kind of like the little brother of this generation. Over here we've got a Porsche, and that's very similar to the 1989 Porsche Carrera Cabriolet that I actually did a review on. So if you want to see that, definitely click on top of the video right now. I'll leave that linked on top of the video. But I really love the navy blue paint, and if you look in the interior as well, like nothing's even touched. And I know I'm kind of going along and pretty much all these cars aren't really modified, but again, in the latter half of the video, we're going to go down into the lower level and check out some modified cars. Now, speaking of, you know, pristine, untouched cars, now we're getting into like the Japanese section here, and we have a very first generation Acura NSX. I don't know if this is the first year or not, and assuming that it's an Acura and the steering wheel's on the left-hand side, I'd have to say this is a USDM model, so not like a, you know, right from Japan, not like a JDM model. But we do have another Japanese icon in the Mark IV Supra. It's extremely rare to see these, and it's even rarer to see these completely untouched and not modified. I also really like the Supra wheels. I do think that they're, you know, really ugly wheels. I mean, just looking at them like relatively, but when you take into context the fact that, you know, again, pretty much everyone who has one of these Supras or this generation Supras have modified it to high hell because of the amount of power that the JZ engine can handle from factory. It's really awesome and unique to see one completely untouched. And actually, just zooming in here, this is actually this is a limited edition Mark IV. It looks like the 15th edition, so that's another pretty unique feature about that Mark IV. Probably I mean, the retail value on that's probably completely ridiculous. I know the, you know, classic line from the first Fast and Furious, but that definitely did not age well because, again, the value of these went through the roof, as well as the RX-7 right here, finished in this kind of silver metallic. You have a little like paint imperfection right below the logo in the front. I don't even think the camera's picking it up, but besides that, the paint on this is just absolutely flawless. I do also love the door handle design of the RX-7s, how they kind of have the door, like actual handle, kind of separated from the door, and it's more like connected to the window right there. I just think that it makes the overall body just flow a lot more neater and cleaner, you know, in the middle section of the car there. And then right next to it we have another JDM icon, an R33 Skyline. This one is not the GTR, for those who don't know. but you can kind of tell from the front here, different bumper. I love the black with the white wheels. My buddy actually has an R33 GTR, and he's kind of got the same thing going on with the black, except he's got a carbon hood with white wheels. I love that combo. I think it looks really, really good on this generation Skyline. Now, kind of moving towards the back here, we have a lot of like the stanced vehicles, starting out with this pretty slammed Alfa Romeo. I know I kind of went through this section briefly in my first day highlights video that I put out on Friday, but I'm kind of just going a little bit more in depth with you guys. And I mean, yeah, look at those wheels. Like, those wheels look absolutely crazy, and they are tucked like pretty damn low. And right in front of us, speaking about tucked, look at that fitment is just ridiculous. The fender's right in between the wheel and tire on the Silvia, and I do love this color. That's definitely not a factory paint color, definitely repainted, and I don't even know if the camera is going to pick it up, but there is a ridiculous amount of metal flake in this paint, and it's kind of like a pearlescent where it kind of changes colors. Like right in front, you could probably see, like right here, it's more of like a neon slash sea green, whereas over there, like looking at it from this angle, it's more of like a dark blue slash kind of violet. So really love the paint, and as well as you know, the fitment is just ridiculous on these, and I'm very surprised at how clean that front lip is, considering how low it is. Also, another one that's probably even lower. I mean, we're just going lower and lower down the line here. We have kind of like a VIP build going, except he doesn't have like the shades in the back. And then this guy's actually really unique. This Honda, I actually don't know if it's, I don't know what this Honda is. So if you know, let me know down in the comments below. I don't think it's a Beat. Like, I have no idea. Actually, oh, here we go. Coming along the back, it's Sarah. So yeah, I know that. I know. I think Doug DeMiro did a video on a Honda Sarah before, but the gull wing doors on something like this just looks absolutely ridiculous, but it's pretty cool. And then speaking about pretty unique Hondas, we got this little Honda truck, also right-hand drive, right from overseas. You can see, like, still has the Japanese plates on with the little Japanese stickers and everything. Now, what I find hilarious about these like little key trucks or Jimmy trucks, whatever you want to call them, is number one, the size of the wheels and tires, and number two, the fact that like pretty much all of them are four-wheel drive. This one's four-wheel drive, so like they have a dedicated front differential, which I just think is so funny and unique. Again, I'm pretty sure like they would probably tear it up in some off-road tracks, but the fact that just like the wheels and tires are so small, but yet you can still off-road these things, is just kind of funny to me. And over here we have a really clean Toyota Surf. I kind of like the I guess that's a mirror right there. Yeah, that's actually a mirror on the very front, which is kind of interesting. It's almost like a 240 or 280Z-esque style mirror right on the front, and it's also even weirder the fact that it already has two side mirrors on it. Same thing over here with this Mitsubishi VR2, but this thing's a little bit smaller, kind of like the Suzuki's, except not as small as the Suzuki's. This one's also right-hand drive. Also, that Toyota Surf is right-hand drive. And then over here we have a really, really clean Land Rover Defender. I mean, this thing is, it's kind of got like a mattish paint to it, like the kind of matte green military style paint to it. But even though it has a matte paint and like not like a gloss paint, you could still tell that the paint is just very, very clean. And it's not fully matte either, it's just more matte, I guess, than gloss. And then over here we have another Range Rover. Again, love the white wheels. They're probably a pain in the ass to keep clean, but I just think that clean white wheels looks just amazing on many different vehicles. And then moving on to the front and kind of finishing up this section before I head downstairs, we have a 1990 Nissan Pulsar GTI-R. Obviously, like more of a rally builds going on here. If you haven't already, I actually did do a review and drive a 1991 Nissan Pulsar GTI-R that got imported, I think like last summer now. But that's actually the only vehicle that I've driven that is a right-hand drive vehicle. Really cool experience, really fun little cars. I mean, they're like one of like the first hot hatches, I guess, back in the day. I mean, you see like the new GR Corolla coming out. It's the same kind of platform, all-wheel drive, right around like 300 horsepower. I think this guy made around like 200 something horsepower, or like low 200s from the factory. So definitely not as much horsepower as like the new hot hatches. But I mean, that's like everything. With newer technology, obviously the power and, you know, limitations get pushed and pushed a lot more. And right in front of me, we have another Citroen, a 1986 to be exact, the X4TC. I also really love the kind of yellow tinted rally lights right in front here, and the old school kind of wide body. I know wide bodies are huge nowadays, but I love the old school kind of boxy wide body designs compared to like the newer, more curvier and more like easier flowing wide body designs. And then right here we probably have one of my favorite cars in this entire like lot, and that is a Ford RS200. Again, old school rally build. You can see the very old racing seats in the interior there. I don't know if the camera's actually picking it up or not, but me being a Ford fan, it's really cool to see one of these in person. I've never seen an RS200 before. Obviously, you've got the hood pins in the back because the entire thing kind of pops up the other way, like towards the driver. Same thing with that E30 M3 over there. Again, you have a kind of like smoother wide body on this with a nice large rear spoiler, but that's very popular with the rally builds and the crazy amount of downforce that some of these cars can actually generate. And then over here, we actually have a car that I've honestly never heard of in my life. So if you have more information about this car, let me know down in the comments below. It looks like a, you know, race spec. You can see the tow hook kind of poking out that little upper grille right there. You can see the race like plastic windows with the tinier window and the racing seats in there. I also really love the color, just the overall design. It looks kind of like a no-name brand Ferrari F40. I know that might trigger some people, but it's like the whole, like, it's reminding me of a Ferrari F40. Obviously not as good as a Ferrari F40, but I really love the ducts behind, or actually in front of the rear wheels right there, and the racing tires. And this is actually a 1992 Venturi 400 trophy car, so really unique. Again, I've never seen this in my life. I don't know if they're more popular in Europe or overseas, but yeah, really cool experience to be able to see one of these. And also, again, the Jaguar. I mean, I know what the Jaguar was, but still, these two cars I've never seen in my life, so pretty awesome to see them at this year's auto show. All right, so before I actually head downstairs, I did just want to say something about the cars like in this display. Someone actually stopped me, a gentleman named John, with the Saratoga Auto Museum, and this is basically like their setup. They're also giving away a Bronco, and they're gonna have a auto show like later on, I think like right around a month from now in May. But yeah, I mean, really cool exhibit, and pretty much all of these are locally sourced cars. So if you happen to be the owner of one of these cars watching today's video, definitely comment down below, because your car, your vehicle, your truck, whatever, is probably really cool, and it's awesome that it's, you know, being displayed here at the auto show. But now I'm actually going to go downstairs. There's another like little section, not as big as this, but there's a couple more locally sourced modified vehicles downstairs that I want to show you guys. All right, so basically the first thing you kind of see when coming down these stairs is the raise booth. I kind of talked about this like little booth in my first day highlights, so I'm not going to really go too in depth, but these are locally sourced cars. We have this crazy Time Attack S2000 right here with a pretty nice Ferrari 488 right here, Infiniti, a Mark V Supra. But yeah, I don't really want to talk about this too much because I kind of already highlighted them, but they do have the raised wheels on them. And then moving on to the main, I guess, modified vehicle section, we have these two, I guess, Camaros up here. The first one, yellow black, kind of like, I guess, similar to a Bumblebee setup with that nice, very nice LS3 in there. Love that engine. But over here, kind of like a stance core Camaro. Honestly, I don't know what to make of it. Definitely a lot of money behind the build though, so I can't really talk crap about it, but definitely a interesting color choice to say the least, and an interesting, you know, wheel setup and I guess overall setup. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of stance wide body builds like this. Personally, I really don't care for them that much, but I'm not going to hate for them because, again, just because it's not my taste doesn't mean it's, you know, not a cool car in someone else's eyes. And again, that stuff costs like a whole lot of money to do. But something like this is definitely more of my taste. We have a GT500 Shelby Super Snake right here with that mammoth, I think that's actually a mammoth supercharger on the top there, a liquid cooled supercharger, 5.8 liter Trinity engine, probably my most favorite Mustang ever created. I did do a 2013 or 2014, I think it was 2014 GT500 review on my channel, so check that out. Over here we have an SN95 Cobra. I'm actually not sure if this is a Terminator Cobra or not. Looks like it. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below, but it looks like a different intake on there, a little cold air intake. Also, one thing about these like SN95 generation Mustangs is that the filter like goes like very low, so it actually kind of tends to pick up water, which is definitely not ideal. We have another Camaro with some neon lights over here. Actually, yeah, right here there's a whole the build list right there, so I mean it definitely is making a decent power, especially if it's blown, so I can't really talk bad about it too much. And then moving on, we have another kind of rivaling Shelby. I love how they set it up like Ford Chevy. Pretty cool, but that's pretty much all that's in this booth. And then up top, it looks like a different supercharger that does not look like the supercharger that comes with these new GT500s. Looks like a JLT cold air intake right there. And I also absolutely love the carbon wheels, the carbon factory wheels that this comes with. And this is actually the track pack. So not only does it have the carbon wheels, but it also has the carbon rear spoiler up there. Probably like the first Mustang right here to MSRP at over $100,000 with the track pack included. Then over here we've got another Camaro. Again, not too much, kind of like front splitter or whatever going on over there. And then a 05 to 09 Mustang GT. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the induction system right here. I don't know if that RAM is actually like functional or not. I would assume it is, because it kind of looks like it's cut out and like made to fit there, but like that right there is the stock intake. So I don't really know what's going on. But then you have another pipe kind of coming down over there, so maybe this person actually modified it and made some sort of functional ram air intake and going right into the intake manifold. But yeah, a little funky. Again, I'm not entirely sure. And then to finish it off, you do have the yellow 5th gen Camaro that I kind of highlighted at the beginning of this little section right here. Moving on to the Toys for Tots section, and probably my favorite section of this lower level. You have kind of like a VIP old school Mercedes build, although those orange wheels, again, in my opinion, are a little bit questionable. Just not for me. But this guy over here, definitely for me, a Shelby Cobra classic. I actually did see this thing on Friday too. Didn't really film it, but underneath the hood you do have the 427. So yeah, I mean, I feel like you just can't go better than a Shelby Cobra. But again, I'm biased. I'm a Ford, I'm a Shelby guy. And then over here we actually have an R34 Skyline. This is not a GTR. I think it's, I don't know, I actually don't know whether it's a GTT or GT-ST, or what actual specification this Skyline is. But I love kind of like the canary yellow. It's also really cool seeing the difference between these Skylines and like the GTRs, because you could tell like that fender is just like, or that like rear fender is just like flat back there. It's not popping out like the GTR. But honestly, in one way at least, these are actually probably a little bit more fun than the GTRs, and that is the fact that these guys are rear wheel drive, so you can do burnouts with them. You can get more sideways than you can in a GTR. But I do kind of like the the wing is definitely out there on this Skyline, but it kind of, there's actually like a 3-piece wing. So you have the center, and then this on like both sides that extends all the way out to almost like the back of the rear window there. I think that's a good place to end it, but behind the R34 and the Shelby Cobra, 2 cars that again I'm huge fans of. Also, I'm sorry if you guys hear the tires screeching in the background. They actually have a little test track where the EVs go around, and some of the drivers actually kind of rip it a little bit. But anyways, that was pretty much like the modified slash classic car enthusiast cars of the New York Auto Show. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, the cars up top, some of them weren't really modified, but the fact that they were completely bone stock really adds to their value. And in a sense, it does, add to their uniqueness, especially some of those you know, older like the JDM cars like the Mark IV Super and stuff, completely untouched. But yeah, that's pretty much just gonna be it. So again, if you haven't already, definitely be sure to subscribe and like this video down below. Like always, I appreciate all the support, every single like, every single comment, and every single view you guys give the channel. But anyways, it's pretty much just gonna be it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.